Okay, welcome back to Rand on Real Estate. This is Greg Rand, your host on 77 WABC, broadcasting from the Small Business Authority studio. And we've got a lot of calls holding. I want you to hang on. We're going to try to get to everybody. But first, I want to talk to my buddy, Joe Covello from Liberty Real Estate. Hey, Joe, you on the air?
Yes, Greg. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Hey, thank you so much for holding and being ready to share some of your trade secrets with the...
Not a problem. Another amazing show.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So, Joe, tell us a bit about yourself. Well, I'll give a little setup, okay? You've been a real estate broker for how many years?
I'd say running about 20 years now.
20 years. And you run a real estate brokerage, which means you have real estate offices in and around Hoboken and the surrounding towns, about 300 real estate brokers in the field. But you have also been building a real estate portfolio all along the way, right?
Absolutely.
So give us all a sense of how big that, if you don't mind being immodest for a second. I know it's a large portfolio. Give me an idea of how many buildings you've pulled into this portfolio.
Right now we're running between my partners, myself, and my agents together with me. It's running around 300 units. 300
units, okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And how many years did it take you to accumulate that kind of portfolio?
Probably in about the last 10 to 15 years.
Now, let me ask you. So we've just gone through a period where the market went haywire for a few years, and you and I spoke prior to this about how the anomaly really was 2002 to 2006. And then what happened since then was a correction. Did you guys, did you continue to buy through the boom time and in through the bust? Did you take a pause at any point during that period of time?
Well, I tell you, it's really always, my motto is it's always the right time to buy real estate. If you're putting down the correct amount of money and you have a long-term outlook, it seems to always pay off. And we were buying real estate during the boom times, but now we're doubling down on that and purchasing real estate now at a higher rate because we feel now is an amazing opportunity.
Obviously, I agree with you on that.
In the industry where you've had, prices going down and interest rates going down, and that's an amazing time to purchase.
Now, Joe, you mentioned that buying with the right long-term time frame and with the right amount of money down. What is that magic number for you, down payment-wise?
So, what I always try to do and what I try to teach my clients and agents, you really want to try to put down as much money as you can. Prior to getting into real estate, I was in banking, so I'm very conservative. So I do take on a lot of partners, and the reason for that is, number one, I want everybody to be involved so that everyone can, really gain some financial independence, but also it allows me to put down much more money on the property. So if there is a correction and rents have to adjust, I'm able to adjust the rents and the building will still generate a positive cash flow. So
just to explain that further, so you take on partners in that rather than getting a bank to give you more of a debt service on the property, rather than borrowing more money, you'd rather bring a partner in so you borrow less from the bank, you have lower expenses, you share the ownership with somebody else, but you give yourself that staying power by basically, if the economy turns, you can't charge as much rent, but you don't find yourself in a position where, like the gal we spoke to from, I think it was Long Island, who bought the second home, we just spoke to her I don't know if you heard it on hold.
Yes, I did.
But she's $600 a month underwater, and if she was owning that property with somebody else and they had both piled on the same amount of down payment, she would not have that negative cash flow. So that's really good advice, and I mentioned to listeners,
her earning $1,000 a month, she may have only been earning $600 a month, but in that you can wait. You can wait because the market, when it turns, and it always does turn for the better, at that point, she could then either sell or, as she's getting that money that's a positive, pay down even more of the loan so that in the future she could refinance, take some money out tax-free, but still leave 30% in for any other corrections, and then just wait another 7 years to do it again.
That's great. I love Joe because he does my job for me. I promised the listeners that I would give him 3 things they'd be able to take away from this show, that things they needed to know about real estate investing. One of them Joe just touched on, which is that if you build equity over time, later on you want to get your hands on the money. You don't sell the property to get the money and then pay capital gains tax. You do a cash-out refinance on the property. You get it tax-free because you're not actually taking a distribution and selling the asset. You're just borrowing against it. So your mortgage debt goes up. You're making less profit on a monthly basis because now your rent is going to pay off more of a mortgage payment, but you get to pull that money out and use every penny of it wherever you want to because you don't have to pay Uncle Sam at that point.
Absolutely.
I love that, man. I love anytime you get to take money out and not pay Uncle Sam. It's just a wonderful thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right. So, Joe, one more thing I want to ask you about. Do you get involved with, as you advise your clients, do they use these things as specific for retirement planning, college planning, things like that?
Yes. What we'll try to do is people will come in and, we recommend multifamilies. The more units you can actually afford to buy, it helps spread the risk a little bit. So, if you do have a vacant apartment, you may have 8 other ones helping you pay for that, rather than having one vacant apartment in a single family, and then you're really in trouble. So what we like to do is when a person wants to do it as condos, sometimes they'll sell off enough just to get the units done so that they're now clear and free on 4 units. They could either refinance those 4 and take that money out tax-free to buy another building, or do a 1031 to buy another building, or just leave that money in because you may have young kids that you need to go to college someday. So you let those funds come in, you put the money aside that you're getting, you have all these great write-offs, and you may sell one just to get them through college when the time comes.
Right, but you got nothing but options at that point. If the earlier you start, the better off you are. Listen, Joe Covello, this has been great. Thank you so much for being on the show. You are libertyrealty.com, is that right?
Absolutely.
Check out libertyrealty.com.
You're doing a great job out there putting out a positive message. Not many people are out there doing that, and I really appreciate it and look forward to reading the book.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Joe. Have a great weekend. Okay, this is Rand on Real Estate. 77 WABC. We have one more break before the end of the show, so stay with us. If you're on hold, we're going to get to you as soon as we get back from the break, and we have one more professional investor to get him to share some of his secrets with us. So stay tuned.